didn't know you were leaving.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to go get my cat. Okay.
That's a good reason. See my bedroom back here?
Oh, nice.
My apartment is a bedroom. You're in my bedroom. Hey, face.
Never asked.
I didn't know I was that way. Evidently I am. Welcome to Facebook world. Look who we got here today. Forget about me. We've got Jennifer Peckham Arundale. Hi.
Hey, Linda. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to be here.
It's so nice to have you in my bedroom on Facebook.
Oh, you're so forward, Linda. That's what I like about you. You're a girl who knows what she wants.
I just go for it, right? I'm like from Oregon, so totally we just do it. I guess. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Okay, back to you. Jennifer, Holy Toledo, you've been all over in all these big comedy clubs and you've opened for big talent like Don Friesen, oh my good God, Dennis Regan, and that lady with the Russian name that I can't pronounce her last name.
Kira Sultanovich.
There we go. Yeah. I'm afraid I'll butcher that name, but oh my God, you've opened for these people.
Yeah, I've been really lucky. I've had a really fun time. For someone who, kind of joined the game as I don't want to call it the final chapter because I'm way more optimistic than that, but, I had a whole career that it did not involve, stand-up comedy for 30 years, behind the camera, doing a lot of marketing.
Behind the camera doing, were you the camera girl?
No, more on the executive side. I was an executive producer of about 7 films.
Wow.
I had a film company in the 90s when it was kind of happening. And, went to the Cannes Film Festival, Toronto Film Festival, and kind of did that whole scene, which was great. And then it was also crazy, as you can imagine. It was pretty much a nonstop party. And then I got married.
Congrats.
Which was great. Got married kind of later in life as well and had a couple kids and decided I should probably do a job that didn't demand so much travel. So then I was an executive recruiter.
What?
Really big company, a global search firm. It's like one of the most prominent in the world. And did that for 10 years. And then one day, after a conference call where I felt like telling everyone just to bugger off, I think it might be time to go. And if not now, when? So I'd always wanted to do comedy. I'd always wanted to pursue acting. So that day I just sort of decided and I put together a ragtag acting resume and signed up for some comedy classes and kind of started from there. And, a few bumps in the road and a few restarts. But I'd say 3 years ago was when I really started. 2 years ago. Who knows? Time flies. 2 or 3 years ago, I really started in earnest, hitting all the open mics and networking and feeling so out of place at first. It's such a young person's game and especially, young men. And it was intimidating at first. And I thought, oh gosh, they think, who is this lady? And now I have to say, sweetly, I love to call a lot of them my friends. They're really nice and, they're just trying to make their way too, and we have our our bond kind of. I like to think of myself as pretty encouraging and good-natured and warm towards them, and now they appreciate it. At first they're like, ew, what are you, my mother?
Exactly. One lady here, she called me the confidence fairy.
Oh, well, that's sweet. What a nice thing to say.
What else are you going to do with somebody that's really old hanging around with young people?
I don't know. I was hoping to get lucky.
So how many how many years have you been doing comedy? If you put a number on it, even with in and outs of the biz, just add it, you can don't subtract that.
I guess it was honestly, total 4, I guess.
Gosh.
Yeah. Being Orange County, which is where I live, I had some opportunities. I studied with a guy, Tom Reel, who's has a comedy class down in San Juan Capistrano. And I did take that a couple times. And the first time I took it, I went to one open mic I'll never forget with a friend of mine. And it was a rainy night. And we had to go to like a strip mall in Santa Ana. And we were the oldest people there, and there was quite a crowd when we started. And you know how it goes when you're the new people. So she and I were last and dead last, and no one was there, and it was pretty horrible. And I'm like, what am I doing? So then it was like, kind of took a hiatus. Then I went back in, and then the same gal and I started doing a lot of open mics, and kind of got into a groove and met some people that were really interested in doing it, and it became more supportive, and there were more, better mics and nicer dive bars to get your practice. And I guess also I'd say a tremendous place for me to do a lot of my work was at Flappers. They're very supportive there as well. I love the Flappers Club. They give a lot of upcoming comics, a lot of stage time, which is great. So I appreciated that. So it's been, all told, I guess 4 years, but really hitting it hard has been the last 3 years.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I quit my job to pursue acting and comedy full time, saved up.
Well, one of my, I have two heroes in comedy, Wendy Liebman and Rita Rudner. Rita lives in San Juan Capistrano, last time I checked.
Yeah, she actually lives in Laguna Beach, which is right next door. Maybe she lives in San Juan. She lives in this neighborhood, definitely. I actually tried to get her on one of the shows that I was producing down here, and it didn't work out. But I'd seen her at the Coach House. She's so funny, and Wendy Liebman as well. I was supposed to do a show at Vitello's with Wendy, but everything's been put on hold. So I'll be looking forward to that when that comes back. They're both so funny.
Yes.
I love them, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I hope we're on the same show. She just asked me to be on one.
Oh, great. Well, yeah, I don't have a date yet.
Me neither. I don't care. Just that she even thought that I was good enough to be asked on is like, I'll take that. Oh my gosh. So how does one, well, first let me ask you, the very first time you got on, what was going through your head before you went on stage? Like the head game.
Oh, the head game. Yeah. Well, a good friend of mine said, don't get nervous, get excited. So I was trying to turn the nerves into excitement, and that's what I told myself. And I was tempted to bring some notes on stage, but I didn't. And it turned out to be kind of a relief, only because if you know they're not there, you gotta muscle through it, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I just soldiered on. Of course, I was nervous, but it was fun. I had a lot of friends in the audience. They were very supportive.
That's
so that
great.
was good. Yeah.
I have to ask you, I think it's a bucket list for me to be someday in that contest with Gene Robertson.
Oh, I was a semifinalist.
Yes.
Gene Robertson humor competition. I don't know exactly what that means, but I know that 10,000 people applied, and I did make it to the semifinalists, which, as she wrote so sweetly in her note, this is still a great accomplishment, and I'm like, I'll take it.
Yes.
So I saw her because I did a little studying with Judy Carter.
Yes.
And she's a big Jeannie Robertson fan and fangirl. So she introduced me to her, that way. And I'm not on her. I don't have anything special with Jeannie. I just applied like everyone else, but that's how I found out about it.
That's so cool. When I saw that you were a finalist with that Jeannie Robertson contest, I was like, oh my gosh. So when you entered that, what was your strategy? Like how many different sets did you have to do to get to be a finalist? Or did you do tell me about it.
Well, everything's pretty digital these days. So I really just sent her one of my best tapes that I shot at the Irvine Improv, one of my shows. guess they had a whole panel of people reviewing things, and they narrow it down and then kick you up to the next level, and then they narrow it down, and then they had the finalists. And I think Daniel Beaches was in second place. I forget the lady that won. I think she was from Georgia or something.
I love Daniel Eaches.
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
He's somebody I've done a lot of comedy shows with too. He does a lot of
Nice.
work down here in Orange County.
Yeah, I love the Irvine Improv. Jim Taylor does a lot of shows there.
Yeah, he gave me my first show there, which was great. I had like 100 people of my own that I brought. That was early days. I'm hoping to get back there on his show. I'm doing a lot of other shows there with other comedians. I open a lot for Kayvon.
Wow.
I don't know if you know him. He's really funny. He bills himself as the half Persian, half American, only half Persian comedian, and he is so delightful and so funny.
Oh my gosh.
And we've had a good time. So yeah, I've done his show, and again, he was going to put me on at the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach this summer, but we'll see if that opens up.
Yes.
The pandemic's done obviously a lot of damage, but it also has created a lot of innovation and opportunity, I feel.
Yes.
I could be as busy as I was, and I now don't have to drive, which, I live in Orange County, and I do a lot of shows up at the Comedy Store and Flappers and, wherever.
That's a lot of miles.
So now I don't have to do that. So I'm good. It's good.
My comedy coach is at Comic Strip Live in New York, and it used to be, because I have blood clots, I'd have to take the train 3 days each way. Now I can just hop on Zoom.
Right? It's so much better.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. There's a blessing in this whole thing. Have you noticed anything funny with how people are acting and overreacting to the pandemic? Because I think the pandemic is not funny, but people are funny. Like when people are frightened, when people are lonely, when people, when they're...
Well, it's hard to, judge people's emotions because it can be really scary depending on your situation. I mean, I'm lucky that I get to shelter at home with my 2 teenage daughters and my husband and my cat. So, I would consider myself very lucky and blessed to have, such a great environment to, be in a pandemic. I'm kind of taking it as it sounds crazy, but I've used it as a health spa type of scenario. We've done a 30-day cleanse. Today, I don't know if I'm acting weird, today is my 6th day of a fast. So I haven't had any food in 6 days.
What?
That's comedy. My regimen is, lemon water, vegetable juice, bone broth, more lemon water, cup of tea, rest.
How's that working? I might try it. Do you want to challenge me to do it? We don't do anything without...
If you're going to do what we did, which was a pretty intense one, I'd recommend that you work with a professional, which I'm not. So we worked with somebody who helped us because I wouldn't have known what kind of supplements we would be taking, and she provided it all. But you can definitely do a 3-day, Linda.
Yeah. Have you found that a fast goes slow?
Yes, it's the longest week of my life. It's longer than some comedian sets that we've all had to sit through.
So, what's it like to be 4 years into the business and have graced some of the biggest stages in LA? What's that like? Holy Toledo. And how the heck did you get so funny to get this good to be on these stages? Do you know how many people want to pick your brain and ask the same question?
Well, I think that, I've always been told that I was funny, but, putting it on the stage is completely different. And to be honest, I was very intimidated. I guess you really want to go way back. I wanted to do comedy forever, but just didn't have really the skin for it, the thick skin. And I think that's one of the things you don't really care as much. It's like, well, what have I got to lose? And so I worked really hard. I was doing 3, 4, 5 open mics a week, and booking the shows down here really helped. I met a great gal, Laura Hayden, early on. She's a comedian who's a good friend of mine, and she's put me in some shows and encouraged me and introduced me to people. I was introduced to a guy named Sebastian Marks in Paris, so I did some shows in France.
What?
It was really exciting, and that was really nerve-wracking. You don't know how it's going to translate, but it worked out. There were plenty of English-speaking customers and people in the audience members, so that was fun.
What is the future? What's the path for you in the future with your comedy? Like, you seem so positive. Are you doing corporate comedy? Are you thinking of doing motivational? Have you already done that?
Yeah. Well, those are good questions. And of course, corporate comedy would be great. I'm still working on my craft and coming up with actually finding out really more about, who am I as a comedian? It's kind of hard, I find myself wanting, to obviously be funny and to be good, and sometimes that can makes you a little too practiced and not as interactive and connected. So that's something I'm really working on, just kind of being a little bit more connected to the audience. And I think that once I'm at a place where corporate comedy is something I can go for, I will. I have done a few engagements. I was a speaker at a women's club. They were all really, let's just call them octogenarians. So I had to talk real slow, but it was fun. Some of my jokes hit better than others. And I was doing a show in June for a school district, but I think that's also will be canceled. So I was kind of on my way there. But my future, I think, I'm also a writer. I'm filming a little sketch comedy with a friend of mine. I'm an actor.
Yes.
I shot a pilot over the summer. I shot something that'll be airing, any week now, called The Believers on the Travel Channel.
What?
I know. It's the Travel Channel. If you check it out, it's kind of all paranormal all the time. So I'm in a paranormal show there. I'm doing a ton of acting classes, and I really like that. I've got an agent.
You do have an agent?
Yeah, I have an agent. So as much as you can do on Zoom, there's quite a few auditions that I'm doing. I have one I have to have in by tomorrow for like WebMD.
What?
So I'm kind of just pursuing everything that I put off my whole life, Linda, is what I'm saying.
That's so cool. I have goosebumps all over my body through this whole interview.
Oh, sweet.
I feel your...
I think, I would say, you didn't ask me, but I would say to younger comedians, I don't think I can say, well, I could say, but I don't think I'd be the same type of comedian I am today if I would have started earlier. I don't regret it. Let's put it that way. Sometimes I wish, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but I did other things. I had an interesting life. I traveled around the world. I met all kinds of super diverse people, and I think that also gives you so much experience to build comedy off of. I haven't even scratched the surface.
Yes.
I just started talking about growing up in Manhattan Beach when Manhattan Beach was not the white privileged place that it is today. My friends, some of the friends there definitely had money, but we didn't have money. They'd be going to Disneyland and on kind of fun cabin retreats and water skiing, and I was building tents in the backyard and homemade slip and slides made out of trash bags and bricks. My dad would just give me a hose. And frankly, I didn't know any better. I didn't know I was, not of substantial money.
Yeah.
So, it was fun. And they still live in the same house that they bought, 50 years ago.
My
and they're in
gosh.
their 80s, and they're just adorable, and they're very funny. My parents are very uh, fantastical, I guess. My mom is
Wow.
a belly dancer.
What?
Yeah. Um, I think people don't realize that all of my jokes are built, they're all true. Every premise, everything is, I don't, you know, my mom is a belly dancer. My dad and I did do some hoboing, which means we jumped on a freight train together and we rode it all the way from Sacramento to Dunsmuir, California.
I know that
Yeah, on
place.
an open freight car. Okay, so it was with a bunch of other hobos. Strangely, we were in a hobo parade. I slept in a cemetery.
Wow.
Yeah, and my mom started belly dancing, and when she first started it, I was super embarrassed because I was still living at home back then, and she was so sexy. It's like, oh mom, oh mom. So now they have, they're just cute. My parents are very adorable. So
Now you said you have two teenage daughters.
yes,
I have a twin brother. He's my twin. Are they twin girls?
no, but practically almost Irish twins. They're about 18 months apart. So I have a junior in high school and a senior, and it's sad,
Yeah.
the pandemic. My older daughter, the senior, she's a real trooper. And I was talking to somebody, when it started, the whole quarantine, I wanted to be the role model. Like, this is going to be okay, girls, and it's going to be great. And I served really healthy food, green drinks. And seriously, Linda, by like day 10, I was serving top ramen and White Claw. First they would come down and say, "Hey, lunch lady, what we got today?" And now they come down, they're like, "Hey, bartender, give me a White Claw." I felt kind of bad that, not that bad. I mean, I don't know how many White Claws they have a day, but like the poor kids, they got nothing to do. School's over for my senior, and it's sad because they go to a school that does a lot for the senior class.
Ugh.
They have a big countdown. They have a candle lighting ceremony. They have the senior dinner where the parents come and the junior class serves everybody. And there's just so much. And my daughter's on the ASB. She's in charge of basically entertainment. She's the entertainment vice president. So she's had to get creative. So they've had some live Instagrams. She did one on the last day and had a bunch of seniors on.
Oh,
That
wow.
was sweet. And then they all, in their own places, either jumped in their pool or dumped a bucket of water over their head or something.
Ugh. I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
but it breaks my heart, to be honest.
Yes. So does your daughter, that's the senior, the older one, has she picked out a college and been accepted, or is that process being held up?
No, everyone got their acceptance letters. She's going to Boston College.
What?
Yeah, she's going to Boston College. Hopefully it starts in the fall, but, there's rumblings of that being online, which, again, that's so sucky for her. But, it is what it is. That's
Yeah.
kind of her attitude. I'm really proud of her.
That's so cool. Does she have a field picked out, or she'll figure that out later?
I think she wants to be in like PR and marketing and advertising.
Oh, wow.
She's very, very funny. And when the pandemic first started, we were having, of course, lots of family dinners, and she's like, this is like reverse Christmas. There's all this togetherness, but there's no presents.
It's a good one. It's a
Yeah,
good.
pretty funny.
It's kind of,
My
yeah.
other daughter is, she's also very funny, but they're very much kind of polar opposites. One's an extrovert and one's much more introverted and artsy, and I'm real proud of both of them. They're both very, very smart, and they've been really good children. I don't have any teen tales of horror, really. I don't.
Were you a good child to your parents?
Oh, so much worse. So bad.
Me too.
So bad.
So
So
bad.
bad. I mean, it didn't help that my dad got me a fake ID when I was 18 years old. So back in the day, everything was paper, and he just took my birth certificate, whited out the date,
Yep.
and just with liquid paper, wrote in a new one and made a Xerox of it. And I went to the DMV, and I didn't give myself a new name. I just had a new birthday.
Wow. Your dad and my dad went to the same school.
And, not that he promoted drinking, but he was just like, "Oh, you're going to Vegas. You want to have a good time." Okay.
I worked at a bank. I was in banking 20 some years, and every day that my dad was alive, he'd call and tell me, "You know how you could rip the bank off?" I'm like,
Oh. My dad wanted, and I was kind of a rule follower to a certain extent. He's like, you should get another social security number. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Boy, I wish I would have taken him up on it. I could have avoided the tax man all these years.
just think how many $1,200 you'd have.
Exactly. Exactly. I'd be rolling in the 1,200. That stimulus would be, maybe too much.
Too much stimulus.
Too much stimulation. I can't handle it. Not enough. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Well,
I,
I want to know. I want to know of all of the places, all the city. I don't want you to get in trouble by picking your favorite club or club owner, but of your favorite city where the people seemed the coolest. Can you tell me which one you thought they were surprisingly super cool, woke, dope?
well, that's a hard one.
Well, I know it wouldn't be Portland, Oregon for me. I was born and raised there.
I've had, and this isn't to put down any other clubs, I've had great experiences at both the Comedy Store. I did a lot of shows up there. I haven't been back. Again, I was going to be back, I think, this month, but that's not happening.
Yeah.
Those people, I think it's because it's a good mix of people that you've invited to see you that you know. And there's a lot of tourists that they just really want to laugh.
Isn't
they're
that?
not as jaded. They're there for a good time. So the Comedy Store is fun, and the Irvine Improv's been great.
Wow. I love the Irvine Improv room. It's so huge. How many does that hold? 500?
More,
What?
probably 1,000 at least.
Whoa. Holy
Yeah,
Toledo.
it's big.
I love it. Well, I'm like 2 bus stops away from the Stratosphere in Vegas.
Yeah, I haven't done the Vegas comedy yet.
You got to
I've
hit
been confused.
Yeah, you got to hit up Jim.
If you're a woman, it sounds a little rough.
Yeah. Well, you got to hit up Jimmy Earl. He protects his women, and he gets you on a show at the LA Comedy Club. It's like a midnight show, but if he takes care of the women, he makes sure that.
Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy Earl.
If Vegas ever reopens, right?
Yes.
Get up there.
Yeah.
I really like comedy, but like most comedians, every other day I'm like, I'm quitting. I don't want to do this. And then
Yes.
you have a great show and you're like, oh, maybe I don't hate it. Maybe it's okay. And I think the Zoom experience with comedy is actually kind of to my benefit about wanting to make better connections.
Yes.
It really focuses you. You kind of have to connect to whoever else is at least on your Zoom. That's all you got, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot more focused, and it's taught me a lot. I mean, it's live comedy will always be great, but I think doing Zoom shows has its place.
I do too. I did a Zoom show the other night, and I was like playing with the camera, like if I'd say a punchline and then I go, like, I wouldn't say, did you get it? But I'd go like, like you have fun with it. You don't let it intimidate you.
Well, exactly, and not nearly as, I don't know, I'm not as nervous or excited.
Yes.
I'm just having fun, I have fun. Like, again, it's like, what have you got to lose?
Yeah.
Zoom show, and you're going to do the best you can, and And I think if you can carry that attitude into when we go back to live shows, it'll be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't sit around and not perform, so what other choices do we have?
Yeah, not many.
Yes.
But I've enjoyed. I want this to be over just like anybody else. But I'm taking full advantage of it. I'm on so many Zoom classes for.
Really?
Mostly those are acting classes, and then a lot of Zoom shows. I have a show later today, Victor Vegas speakeasy show, and then tomorrow I'm doing a great show. If anyone's watching, you should tune in. I'm doing a Zoom show at Flappers to celebrate Laura Hayden's birthday. And the ticket sales benefit the LA Food Bank, $10, and we benefit the LA Food Bank, which I think everyone can agree is a great cause. And the lineup is like beyond. Linda, we've got Jeff Capri, Maria Herman,
Wow. Holy
Peter Marr. What else? So many people.
What time is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow Monday? Yeah, it's the 4 de Mayo, the 4th of May at 7.
On your page it'll be playing?
You have to go into the Zoom room, so maybe that would be a good place for you to see how they're doing it. You have to buy a ticket and then log in via Zoom as a participant. And then I think what they do is they film the projection. I don't know.
But if people want to go, if I can clear my schedule and I want to go, you have all the information on your page?
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so it's Laura okay. Brian McDaniel, who's hilarious from Entourage, is the MC.
Wow.
Jeff Capri, Karen Rontowski.
What?
Karen Rontowski.
Oh, I heard. I just was like shocked.
All right. Lang Parker, sorry. She's from Beverly Hills 90210, done entertainment for the troops. Maria Herman, Peter Marr, Reem Adam, very funny, Winnie Wilkins, and and Megan Kelleher.
And you?
And me.
Yeah, man. I'll see if I can be free for that. But I'll put it on the post here when we get done. I'll add it. Do you have any social media where you want bigger numbers, people to drive traffic?
I'd love it if you want to follow me on Instagram at Jennifer Arundale, Arundale.
Okay.
My Facebook page, just Google me. I've got, I have 2 pages, but I haven't really promoted or worked on my comedy acting page. So people just follow me on regular Jennifer Peckham Arundale Facebook.
Okay.
I'm at Jen Arundale on Twitter. And something weird happened, I think. I have actually, since lockdown happened, and I do no shows, so maybe that's the secret. I do no live shows. My Instagram following has gone up like 500 people.
What? That's wonderful.
I think a lot of it is the acting things that I'm doing. I'm in a lot of classes and a lot of groups.
That's so cool.
A lot of camaraderie. Everyone's trying to support in these times. So
I've noticed that when we're doing little Zoom shows that the comics are paying attention and supporting each other's, average to above average jokes. So that's a nice change.
Unbelievable, right? Exactly.
It just
I totally know what you're saying.
It just takes a worldwide pandemic.
Yeah, it takes a worldwide pandemic. The same comics that used to leave the showroom and just go back to the green room, well, now they're kind of stuck, and it's good. I've been, kind of pleasantly pleased to get some nice feedback from some of them. I've only done 10 shows with you. You finally noticed?
You know what I find funny is that late night, they're doing the same thing you and I are doing right now.
Have you? You mean like Saturday Night Live?
Like Jimmy Fallon and all them boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then
Sure.
we're doing what they're doing, and I am a little sick and twisted. And when they tell a joke to no one there, it's like, So now you remember your roots, huh?
And you don't hear any laughter because there's no one to laugh. You're like, now you know how it feels.
Exactly.
Or, on the other hand, you're like, okay, so they can, not bomb, you don't want to say that, but, it's different.
It is.
They seem so much more human and less like superheroes.
Thank you.
They're just people, and, God bless them. They're all doing their best, too.
Yes.
Everybody.
I can't imagine being at their level doing what, like what I'm doing. I can't imagine them telling jokes to no one there but their kids running around and interrupting.
Yeah, it's just like home, right? Just like home.
Well, you've been so gracious to spend 42 minutes with me. Do you have any parting thoughts for how to make it through a pandemic? I'm sure you've been studying this.
Well, Eileen, all I would say is take advantage of this time that we have to be creative and, do those things you've been afraid to. So I wrote that sketch, as I mentioned, and I'm actually filming it. We're filming it on Wednesday. It's an easy to do, and I think what I would say is surprise yourself. Surprise yourself. Write that sketch. It doesn't have to be great or perfect or anything. And shoot that film or make that funny meme or, just go for it.
That's so cool.
You don't have anything to lose, and this is the time to kind of spread your wings and get a little gutsy and fearless. I mean, we're already fearless stand-up comedians, let's face it.
Yeah.
But, keep going.
Okay. That's so awesome. Jennifer Peckham Arundale, thank you so very much. So
Thank you
this,
so much for having me, Linda. It's been great.
it has been great. Jennifer, where do people see your video that's going to come out, your sketch?
We're going to post it on Instagram. It'll be on my Instagram and Facebook page.
Okay.
And I would do some TikToks, but my daughters are like, Mom, you are too old to do TikToks. I'm like, I don't think so.
Dante and Rebecca are doing TikToks.
There you go. Yeah, I was at the U.S. Coffee. Did that too. So yes, and thank you everyone who watched. And,
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for all your support, Linda. And
Yes, you'll have continued more support. I'll get out there and support you even more. Thank you so much. You're a delight.
Okay, thanks, Linda. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.